Apparently this guy right here in the bottom left side, the red Zerg player called Solar. Let's zoom in on his hatchery here. Saying that he doesn't like Protoss right now. He just took out the best Protoss in the world and he's like, you know what, I don't like Protoss. I guess that is good motivation to take them out. To just, you know, destroy them. Gotta hand it to him. He was pretty good at it. At least that previous time. 2 very quick attacks. Making it work. Getting everything rolling. By the way, guys, we did have an update to the tournament. It will be a best of 5. Rather than a best of 7 in this finals. It seems like maybe because Solar is such a macro player. I'll shorten it down to 5 games. So my apologies if you were looking forward to a potential 7 games instead of a potential of 5 games. You know, just gonna have to live with it, just like I will. I think the players are pretty okay with it, right? That just means they're off of work quicker. Surprise, surprise! What's this? Zoun suddenly also going for the Stargates here. He's like, you know what, that trap guy just couldn't make it work, could he? I'll show him how it's done. I really hope it's going to be the double Stargates here. That would be kind of funny. Especially if he just manages to pull it off. Just has the exact same all-in occur and then he just holds it flawlessly. The Alpha Extreme. Couple of the Zerglings here. Kind of chilling at the front as well. Always makes me wonder a little bit, right? You're sacrificing the Overlord, but at the same time also having these Zerglings brought in to potentially double scout. I don't know. You knew there weren't any Stalkers around. Oh well. Regardless of all of that. Have a pretty standard game once again afoot, where these 2 guys are just kind of getting themselves into the regular. Never mind, there's a fleet beacon before anything else. Alright. Alright, Zoun. Let's see what he does. Let's see how he does this. It would be really cool for Alpha X. There we go, there's the second Stargate as well. So prioritizing that fleet beacon. Is this going to be his Tempest play? I know that he does some very quick Tempest play now and again. And I think I've seen it work once. I have seen it work once. And I think it was Zoun. Oh, sorry, Zoun. Gotta be solid here. That's gonna be a transitional period here, guys, with some hiccups in the pronunciation, but we're getting there, and it is going to be the Tempest. Look at that, 2 Tempests in production right now. I guess Tempests do outrange Queens, so if there's like a big Queen push coming, you'll be able to poke away at them for a very long time. Then if the Ravagers and Roaches just come in, do you still have enough firepower to actually take those down as well? That is That's my worry. He's even getting the upgrade. That's just building damage, though, isn't it? Doesn't do extra damage against ground units, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So, it's gonna be interesting. Solar will be scratching his head a little bit. He's getting a Spire, which is going to be very strong against this Tempest play, I would say. Ooh, the Tempest getting spotted now as well. The Zergling's the second ring around the rosy. Seeing the Tempest. I don't like this for Zoun. I don't like it. I don't like Tempest overall, to be fair, but you know what? I'm willing to be surprised. Solar should be able to hold this off fairly confidently, I would say. He's got a good amount of queens, and he's got that Spire about to finish up as well. He has 800 gas in the bank. Alright, Tempest, show us what you can do in these types of situations. I would say you would like to try and take out this base, right? That's probably kind of what you're aiming to try and do. 11 Corruptors. 11 Corruptors. There is not much time left. These Tempest need to get their value somehow, some way. Alright, there we go. They get a queen. They're one-shotting queens right now. The upgrade is completed. Here we go. This is our time. Oh, Tempest. Those Corruptors, they're so close. Alright, the Oracle might be able to see the Corruptors come in before it is too late to get away. It's 2 Corruptors. Alright, lovely. Lovely. Just teleports himself out of there. That is great. I don't think he lost a single one. Yeah, he lost the Oracle to the Corruptors, but he kept all of those Tempests alive. And he killed 5 queens in total. Which, is that enough? Well, I hope so. I hope so for the Zoun. This will be enough for him. Void Rays being brought out as well as extra protection against those Corruptors now. Very cool type of style here to see. Don't get the Tempest first play all that often. Usually a unit you gotta be very careful with trying to get into. One misstep and you just lose so much value so quickly. StarCraft 2 is a snowbally game, but if you start losing Tempest, it snowballs so incredibly quickly. Just a unit that the way they get value is by staying alive for a very long time, and they, you know, they're capable of staying alive for a very long time due to their range. But I mean, if they die quick, they die quick. Yeah, it's just so much more painful than, for example, something like a carrier, right? A carrier still will send out its interceptors. It's going to do a little bit of damage, might be able to target down 1 or 2 units. A Tempest, it's gonna hurt something slightly, you know? Unless if you target down Zerglings. This is still a lot of trouble here for Zoun. The Void Rays, gotta be wary of the Queens as well. Nice target fire with the prismatic alignment. May want to try to target down some Roaches as well with it, as he is microing backwards away from the Queens. Queens doing a good job though, zoning away those Void Rays. Those Void Rays doing a good bit of damage onto the Corruptors as well. Transfuse is about to be running dry. We still have enough now to perform a final cleanup on Isle 2. May not be enough here. The base definitely will be taken out. I would assume that is going to be targeted. Yeah, there we go. Nexus is gone. Going up onto the ramp here with the Queens is incredibly difficult though. 20 probes have been killed. Turning around is also very difficult because those Tempest and Void Rays are going to just tailgate you all the way. The Queens being so slow, it's just going to be a rough moment there. Void Rays still struggling to do anything, to be fair. Queens, how many do we have left? There's 6 of them remaining. But it appears to be enough. More Corruptors just streaming on in as well. How many Void Rays do we have? 7. 7 Void Rays versus, well, 3 Queens here and 8 Corruptors still on the way. Nice target fire, but yeah, this is an unsalvageable situation now. Look at this, what we have on the other side of the map. It is, yeah, there's no way to recuperate from that situation. GG is called. Solar taking game number 1 in a nice and clean fashion. Little probie coming in again. This is game number 2, by the way, of the finals in the into the Alpha X Pro circuit number 7. Kaisi Gaming's Solar and Alpha X's Zoun right here. Trying to lay claim to the first spot in this tournament. It's been a long, tedious road. I've been trying to emphasize that before already as well. But it has been. We've had 2 group stages overall. First group stage was a 4 groups. Yeah, 4 groups. So that is a total of 16. No, yeah, 16 players. Am I crazy? I think I might be. Anyway, 16 it should be. And then afterwards we went down to 8. And now, today, we've gone down to 4. And then straight afterwards to 2, of course. Only 2 remain. As it works in a tournament. But yeah, it's always nice to kind of know that this was part of a bigger thing, in a way. And let me take a quick look. So I was trying to do this before as well, but Zoun taking out Lenok, taking out Armani in his group C, going out first in that group. And then let's take a gander at his second group. He was in with Trap, Ragnarok, and Hero. And Zoun took out. Did he lose against? Oh, he lost against Ragnarok. Then he beat Hero, and then he beat Ragnarok. So pretty good stuff. I'm gonna look at Solar as well, I suppose. Let's just take a quick gander as well. Solar, he took out Keen in his first group, and then he took out Ryung. No way, he lost to Keen first, and then he took out Ryung, and then he took out Keen. Okay, and then he moved out in second place. First place in that group being Trap. Trap, a lot of first places in this tournament. At least in the groups. And now the playoffs not really working out in his favor. Typical Trap. Typical Trap. Alright, and then in the second group of Solar, right? Let's see. He lost against Cure. And then this is very interesting in a way, because both these players played against the other person that was in the semis, right? That's pretty funny. Solar lost to Cure in the other group stages, and Zoun lost to Trap in the previous group stages, and now they've beaten those opponents for each other in a way, right? So they can play each other in the finals now. It's pretty funny, pretty funny. All right, and then Solar also took out Lenok and then Zest to advance in that group. And make his way over into that match versus Trap. Fun stuff. Oh, it's kind of funny. Little Void Ray going on his Red Riding Hood adventures. +1 air weapons once again, as well as the second Stargate. This time around, no quick... Oracle goes down. No quick fleet beacon. Unfortunately, that probably means no quick Tempest here either. Or maybe that's a good thing. Depending on how you look at it, right? How many Zerglings did we make? 14. How many roaches are we making? 11. How many queens did we make? 7 with 2 more on the way. Alright. Well, I think this only ends one way, guys. I think this only ends one way. Those Void Rays, there's 2 of them. They might not be sufficient to hold off against the 8 queens. They are all coming along, chugging along like a diesel on tracks. Sneaking up on Zoun here. Zoun gonna be in quite a quandary pretty soon. Those roaches, the first sign of trouble, as now those queens are gonna rear in their, well, front heads right now. Void Rays, where are the shield batteries? There's one available in the natural base. A quick couple of sentries being warped in, but I'm not sure if that's going to keep anything safe here for a long period of time. Zerglings now starting their way into the base. Static defense gone before it even had a chance to do anything here. And 2, 3 Void Rays probably won't make a difference anymore. 6 probes gone down, looking for a couple more. Of course, you do need to do damage with this. It'll just slowly be whittled down by Void Rays as you're targeting down gateways. But, yeah, I mean, Solar is coming in here. He's moving on through, trying to keep everything properly together and in a way so he can actually combat the Void Rays here. They are once again in trouble, moving on backwards. Losing one of them is quite a bit of trouble, especially with those shield batteries there, ready to heal them up again. Are those Zerglings in the main base? No, there's cannons right there now. Fully set up with static defense. There's a fair amount of workers still left for Zoun. So, to be fair, well, he is sacrificing a couple of them for free, but it does have some pretty good saturation in his natural base now. So Zoun does hold on. Can he make anything happen from this position? Now, that's the kind of the question. Still needs a bit longer. Oh, that is not a base that's going to be living for a very long period of time. The main base feels quite open as well. Zerglings. Yes, there are 2 cannons there ready to take on a small squad of Zergs. But with the Queens and the Ravagers going up there also, could be quite a handful for Zoun. Dabs find their way onto the drone line. Weren't that many drones to begin with here for Solar because of this attack. So we'll have a couple of those go down here. That's the main priority for Solar here, is not allowing this third base to be accomplished. Will once more just snap his fingers and stop that from being a thing. 5 drones in total being snuffed out by the Adepts. Not bad at all. Already up to 9 Void Rays right now, but they are up against 16 Queens. Still a little bit rough, though most of the Queens are of course on this side of the map. Still nothing really capable of killing each other. That's a lot of Mutalisk now in the production tab as well. Solar 60 supply above that of Zoun. He's got a 4th base coming up. Zoun does as well though, to be fair. No, never mind, that's his 3rd of course. He never had this natural base retaken. I momentarily forgot right there. Zerglings will arrive here as soon as they can to start a bit of trouble. Oh, that was a close one. Really does not want to be forced to cancel another Nexus right now. He starts it up and is natural once again as well. Probably realizing this is not a likely position to hold. Cancels the entire thing, scraps the idea. Imagine the Mutalisk now getting a cancel on this Nexus. That is... yeah. Right, more queens arrived, more transfuse energy, that means. Pretty reasonable disruptor shot there, getting the 2 Ravagers. And it looks like, yep, this Nexus, once again, not really meant for this world, has to be cancelled once more. Void Race in a lot of trouble trying to fight whatever they can. The queens still providing so much firepower from the left side as well, though. There we go, disruptor shot, that is massive. Oh, the Void Race not able to really take advantage of that situation right there. We have Phoenixes on the menu, but it's going to be a while before they arrive. GG is called. Solar taking another victory under his belt. Top right side. He's in a pickle. He is in a pickle. One last live remains. The red Protoss player. Zoun. From Alpha X. Bottom left side, a blue Zerg player fighting for Kaisi Gaming. Put your flippers together for Solar. Fighting off Trap already today in a fairly clean fashion. It was a bit of a surprise seeing Zoun and Solar moving through here. The 2 players I suspected to be the least favorites. Now meeting off in the finals. To be fair, both Cure and Trap kind of felt like they were trying to just not reveal too much because of the GSL coming up. Trying to just stick to one build order and make it win that way, right? A very solid macro kind of style build order with some harassment from both of them. But yeah, just wasn't enough to manage to get the victory here. Now with the situation at hand, potentially quite a bit of trouble here for Zoun. Two points behind in the best of 5. It's as bad as it gets, really. Well, you could get 3-0 as well, but as bad as it can get while the series is still going. Maybe if he loses a lot of probes right now because of like a Zerglin run by or something like that, it could get worse. It's always a way to make it worse, but we are nearing that edge. There's a lot of work ahead of him trying to recuperate this situation. On the other hand, Solar's got to be feeling pretty comfortable at this moment, right? He did just take out Trap. Now he's up against the Protoss. That is, you know, by most players and people considered to be the lesser strong Protoss overall. One thing I like to point out for Zoun's kind of playstyle here is that we have not seen any adept glaive pushes. Now, in most situations, I would be happy about that, but we're up against most opponents, but against Solar, I don't know. Solar just, I've seen him just crumble against the adept pushes. Maybe he's put in more time, maybe he's better at it now, but before it did used to be quite a problem for him. He never quite got as crisp as the other Zergs got against the adept glaive attacks. And Zoun, he was always very good at getting the damage dealt with the adept glaives. So, in that sense, this is maybe perhaps the one matchup where he could try to make something like that happen. Then again, trying to bank it all in a best of 5 in, you know, one game left to win for your opponent to bank it all on an adept glaive attack could be quite a scary trigger to pull. So far, a very unfruitful game. We do see another roach swarm coming in, though. How many queens are we going up to? We've got 6. We still have another one producing. Are we going to get another one over here? Let's wait for a bit of money. See whether or not that happens. We've spread pretty singular direction. I mean, a queen push once again here. I don't think we're having it right now, as we're still droning up from solar. Would be a little bit too late. Yeah, there we have the Hydralisk coming in instead. We'll be making a play by the Hydra. We haven't seen him play Hydra yet. He's always preferred the Spire approach up until now. Maybe right now this is his moment to try get the Hydralisk into Lurker playstyle going a little bit as well. Wasn't it Solar that said that he kind of prefers the Brute Lords over the Lurkers? I think most Brodals, you know, or at least a lot of them, would prefer fighting against Brute Lords over Lurkers as well. Bit of a clunkier unit. Even though the Lurkers have to get in the ground, the Brute Lords, they are just so slow. Zoun getting the cancel on that 4th base with the Void Rays there, by the way, as well. So, proper job to him. Not losing too much hull on these Void Rays either. Solar trying to ramp up his army production here a little bit. As the Queen's quite far in the front. Is he going for it? Well, it looks like he is. Looks like he is, guys. You can't stop a man's nature. He will be going for these pushes all the time, and here he is again. This time around, it's Hydralisk. We do have Disruptors about... Well, they just started in the main base. It will be fantastic to have those out right now. That could just immediately turn this battle into the favor for Zoun. It all comes down to this. The Banelings in between as well now have their Baneling speed. Which way are we going to go here for Solar? Breaks down the rocks, has a bit of an easier time bringing in reinforcements. There's the first Disruptor shot. Doesn't get too much, but it does connect. I think only one Hydralisk perhaps went down there. Another one. That is a pretty big one. A mean Disruptor shot right there coming in from the right, but the Banelings now are encroaching onto the probes. Probe connections pretty good. Only 4 of them have gone down, but a lot of them in the red. More Banelings rolling on through. Disruptors still viciously attacking from that left flank. Only 12 probes so far have gone down. That's a counter attack as well. Zealots actually taking out the 4th base right now of Solar. Solar, his attack seems like it has fallen apart. Will tap out of that one as well. GG is cold. If I was a... I don't know where this thought came from, but it just did, alright? It just started to exist in my mind. But if I was like some sort of an old Navy sailor out on the open seas, I would, and then if I was the captain, I would want Cynical Death as my first-hand mate, right? That is just there, and he's just organizing everything before I can even be like, oh, wait, we should probably have this organized. And he's like, well, sir, already done, Captain. You know. One of those first mates that probably should be captain instead. There we go. It really is the theme of today, isn't it? that Stargate right there, but just not getting away from it, it seems. To be fair, it's kind of the theme of the overall PvZ matchup right now. I'll give you that. Oh. Saves the drone. Doesn't save the Ling. Things cannot turn themselves into pretty spore crawler structures. As we all know, one of their one of their flaws. It would be pretty crazy if you could just evolve every Zerg unit continuously, right? Like you could treat a Zergling like a larvae, so that you would just run Zerglings in, and then they would start to cocoon in the enemy base wherever they are, into Ultralisk or something like that. That'd be crazy. They become Corruptors. That'd be good. That's how I will win some StarCraft 2. Oracle and Void Ray coming over. Looks like a proper timing for that Queen to arrive here. So second Stargate once again coming in. I mean, guys, it is Juggernaut, isn't it? It is Juggernaut. I mean, I'm having a bit of a deja vu moment here, especially seeing the creep spread kind of arcing out to the right side to this base in particular. Right, he's eyeing it up. Roach Warren is being produced. That does get scouted by the Oracle. So let's hope Zoun will make the right choices here. Keep himself afloat. Because this is the same situation Trap found himself in, and well, it didn't go well for him. I would say he had a better position as well with his third base over here, rather than closer to the Zerg. But so far we don't have that many queens yet, do we, actually? How many queens are we on? We're on 7. It's a fair amount, actually. It's a fair amount. More still being produced. So just trying to sell that he's not going for anything here. Maybe. Maybe he is. He is getting Overlord speed, which makes me consider that, yeah, okay, there's a Spire and Infestation Pits. Evo Chambers coming down. Huh. It's like he's mid-game just kind of considering, like, alright, do I go for the queen push? I made 7 queens. No. Let's actually use the 4th base this time. At least that's what I'm assuming is going to happen. Looking in the face of that double Stargate right here. Void Rays, not going to be able to catch that Overseer. Solo should try something sneaky, not Queen Walk again. Maybe. Maybe. I mean, the Queen Walk is pretty sneaky, no? And if he just wins with it, can you fault him? It's his job to win StarCraft. It's like literally his job to figure out the best ways to win StarCraft. And then win playing StarCraft. Speedy Overseer, checking out the Protoss area. Looking at all the new future potential real estate that is going to be available to the Zerg. And we are getting Archons and Disruptors mixed into the army of Zoun now. Definitely like that idea to have a couple of Archons with those Void Rays. Just in case we do get a quick Mutalisk attack or something like that. You don't feel as exposed. Instead of the Mutalisk, we are seeing Solar once again committing to the Great Aspire, though, rather quickly. Would assume we're going to see some Corruptors on that production tab momentarily as well. And then he could just try to go for it. Now, I believe we've seen him do this particular build once, maybe twice. But I know he lost with it, right, versus Trap. When he was trying to make all the Brute Lords, and the Brute Lords just, like, he didn't have anything against the Void Rays. It's not going to be that situation here, most likely. Because we have a lot more emphasis on the ground army here for Zoun than we did for Trap. So, Disruptors, there's Archons involved. It's quite a bit of investment there on those units. Oh, Banelings, Banelings. Oh, that is 3 Banelings. Silly Solar. That's not what you use them for. Well, I mean, if neither of them have attacked at this point, I feel like we're in it for the long haul, guys. We're in it for the long haul. And Solar, you know, it's kind of scary how eagerly it seems like he wants to get to the late game. He's got a very hefty army supply in Roaches and Ravagers right now. Which means if Zoun does manage to get himself to maxed out as well, perhaps that could be quite a turning point. Oh, careful. Right? Yeah, exactly. Because Zoun will have a much better army. If he manages to utilize that army advantage in the correct fashion, he could translate that army advantage, of course, into a economic advantage as well. So let's see if that is anywhere near what we're going to be seeing here. Oh. Poor little Oracle. Well, that seems like a rough place to bust. Oh, especially with instantly just a warping taking place. Send those roaches home. Zealots. Doesn't even sacrifice the Zealots here. Being very careful. He's got his Tempest out, his shiny little Void Rays. Archons. Carriers coming in as well. He's getting everything. Guess that's one way of freeing up supply. How many Roaches and Ravagers does he have left? And how many has he killed himself? Because he only has 4 Ravagers left right now. This is it. He did send some to the left side, but... maybe I missed it. I guess there's only 4 Roaches there. I guess he never had a lot of Roaches. Or Ravagers. I guess I just imagined it all. That is quite terrifying. More Brood Lords. I hear those are important. A little bit of one of those awkward moments, right? Neither of these players want to attack each other. Neither of these players want the other to get a bigger foothold in the map though either. So we're kind of waiting for... I think it's going to be Zoun to try and take his... what is it? His 6th base. Once he has that 6th base, it could start wrapping up rather quickly here. 2 more Stargates coming in as well. That's the mothership being brought along. Very similar type of bank available for both these players. Also remember, much easier time to remax the army of the Zerg than it would be for the Protoss. Especially an army like this. Alright, Ultralisk Zerglings on the left flank there. Broodlords on the right. This could be a moment for Zoun if he just engages onto those Broodlords. If only he knows. He kind of knows. I guess the Queens are there as well together with the Infestors. But actually the Infestors not that much energy on them. There we go. Is 2 Broodlords down? 2 Broodlords down. Four o'clock being taken over right now by Protoss infrastructure. Solar, of course, having the base to the north of there. Not too far apart right now. See it like this, actually. The 2 lines of defense. Wouldn't mind seeing Solar taking these bases on the left side, actually. Became quite difficult for Zoun to control this one because he has all those gateways there. We'll have a rough time kind of moving back and forth in those 2 locations. Ooh, Disruptors. That one's gonna die, right? Yeah. Peculiar fight, which neither of these players really felt comfortable taking. Trade-wise, so far, definitely out on top for Zoun. And look at those feedbacks. All of the Queens now absolutely without energy. As Zoun starts picking away at the Spore Crawler Forest. Just needs to be careful of the Harpoons, those Vipers. And he has to be careful of the Broodlords not getting their hands on the High Templar either. Chasing down the observers. There's a nice network of observers been placed down by Zoun. Definitely helping him out quite a bit. An army of changelings and, well, Zergling, Baneling, Ultralisk following up. And, yeah, just very slight committed movements here. Neither of these players want to just throw away the chance to win this right here. It's a tricky situation because usually the player that gets the fight to happen over their defenses, right, is going to be the player who wins. Nice little yoink there, abducting the High Templar. Still good feedbacks as well, though. You have to hand it to him. But yeah, the potential kind of problem-y thing is that that's the Protoss you want to be poking out here, right? You want to be poking those static defenses. That's going to remove you quite a bit from your own static defenses. Unless if you just keep building it further and further along forwards, of course. Counter attack on the left side. Ooh, Disruptor shot. Just a bit short. They didn't have the range to reach. 2 Immortals and 2 Archons. Really a unit composition ready to deal with anything. At least run-by related. Ooh, good hit there. Only 1 disruptor shot though, unfortunately. Other ship. There's not that many Corruptors there, but there's enough Vipers to yoink it twice. We'll be able to shut that down. Still, the potential counter-attack damage there. Ultralisk circling set up on the flank. It's a very tight situation here. The bank for both these players has become a bit of a gap here. It looks like Solar definitely losing out more money quicker than Zoun is so far. Might be these run-bys right here, losing the Ultralisks now and again. Zerglings and Banelings and such running through that corridor. Finding the army that will beat almost anything. The 3 Archons, the 2 Immortals, and a couple of Zealots. Nice. At least so far it has, so has to prove itself once again. Let's see. Let's see if this will be enough. That's a lot of Queens there. That's a lot of Transfuse. Immortals not really target firing the Ultralisk. Yeah, that is too much. Too much to handle. Finally, the ground forces for Zoun will be eliminated. He's going to be able to replace them with 2 more Immortals and 2 more Archons. Of course, of course. Why would you want anything else? Who in their right mind would ever want anything else but 2 Archons and 2 Immortals? I mean, it is, like, I don't know. It sounds like I'm making a joke, maybe. But, like, it's really good. Just those 4 units somewhere. Like, you're not going to crack that by just running Zerglings in. You're not going to crack it by running Zerglings in with the help of a couple of, well, with the help of 1 or 2 Ultralisk. You need to send quite a bit now in order to have a run-by work. Couple of Dark Templars here as well. On the right side, together with a bunch of cannons. How many minerals do we have left in these patches right here? It's still about, well, I can't click on this one. Do we? How interested are we? Okay, there we go. 700 as well on that one. Okay, okay, so it's close to I guess 2,500. 2,500 minerals still left there. Doesn't seem like that much with, you know, what 11k minerals in the bank here for Zoun. But it could still be enough to make a difference. Vipers managed to once again assassinate that mothership. Zoun so far not really remaking it. Okay, there we go. Was wondering if he was considering getting something else, but will go along the same track here. Tempest doing an alright job once again, and oh wow, that could have been massive. That could have been almost all of the infestors going down by a single disruptor shot. Imagine, just imagine if that would have happened. The map is split in 2 now, by the way, guys. So, I think with Zoun, he has been able to be a lot more efficient with the army here. Gonna take a quick look. Yeah, look at that. That is insane. Almost 10k minerals difference. Almost 3k gas difference as well. So I'm doing a bang-up job so far with the poking here. Solo tried to have the fight happen there, but couldn't quite make it work. moving back. Always a bad sign when a pro player moves back. Once he made a lapse in judgment. Sacrificed some units that he probably didn't want to sacrifice. And again, I mean, he's still on max supply. Still about 8k minerals, 6k gas in the bank. It's in a fair spot. Could be worse. There's the Protoss piggy bank once again. Able to hold 400 minerals and 400 gas. Nice and safely up in the sky. Where you won't be able to spend it anymore, but you know, your opponent won't be able to mine it anymore either. They're able to kill it, but you know what? At least you are safe in the knowledge that nobody will use that 400 mineral and 400 gas anymore. Bit of an awkward moment. There it goes again. Down it goes. Into oblivion. Solar is not scared of letting these games go long, is he? He kind of likes it. You can see that zone. He just still feels kind of compelled to try and make something work. Solar's just like, yeah, you know what? I'm just going to wait until you make a mistake. I'm just going to slowly sit here, do my thing. Do a couple of run-bys here and there. That was actually quite a big one with Banelings there, it seems like, but... Oh. Are we gonna have an engagement? No. No, it doesn't look like it. Some alright volleys from the Broodlords though. Finding some damage there. DTs and Stalkers on the right side managed to shut down the mining, the long distance mining that was still occurring. Also getting the extractors. Careful, careful, both of you. I'm not sure what's gonna happen. Oh, what is happening? We have some abductions. No big disruptor shots. It's very rough to call this, isn't it? It's very, very rough to call this. So, let's make it a bit easier. There we go. So we have 14 Corruptors. And 4 Vipers, 5 Queens anti-air. That is what we have. We still have the... I should put the Infestors in there as well, to be fair. And they do help out against that air. We only have 1 Ultralisk, 8 Zerglings. Doesn't seem all that much. There goes the 400 piggy bank once more. Well, that's not going all too well for Zoun here, with just losing his mothership over and over again. Yeah, the units lost tab is getting closer together now. Solar's starting to even things out. Starting to get more efficient once again. Starting to push his way through now. The static defense is set up by Mr. Zoun. I'm not going to be able to hold up here any longer. Grabs another Tempest right there. Whenever he just has another Abduct, he'll just go for it. Gotta be a bit wary of just the Corruptors flying in, of course. AoE splash damage up in the sky is still quite a potential thing here from those Archons. But Zoun so far still, you know what? He lost his infrastructure there, but he has more. He still has his army. Didn't take a defeating blow there in any stretch of the imagination. We're just going to be able to keep going here at the pace that we have been. With both of these players kind of anxiously just looking at what the other one has. How in the world am I going to be able to stop that from just existing on the same map as I am? Because, well, it's clearly not coming for me, so am I going to have to find a way to go to him? Which is rough. Which is rough. It's the one downside of this matchup right now. It does kind of... It slows down so much, you know, with... Oh. How many motherships have died? 5 motherships. 5 motherships. There's been more mothership kills than sentries, stalkers combined. And oracles, I suppose. Let's chuck that up there as well. I guess that's no longer... It's the same amount at that point. But yeah. Stalkers and sentry amounts combined is the same as... or lower than the amount of motherships that died, so... Interesting. There you have it. We're up to 14 carriers. We have 9 infestors, assuming they do have the neural parasite, right? They do, okay. Imagine that, not having neural parasite at this stage of the game. Oh, man. I could ruin a man. Still kind of funny seeing those big Tempest shots just scooting over. And then not even doing half the HP damage worth of one single Corruptor. I get how broken Tempest would be if we upscale the damage of Tempest, but... Man! Right now, they're just such a sleepy unit in a way. I guess they do a lot of damage against buildings now, so... We got that, we got that. We just gotta wait until they unlock the upgrade for doing extra damage against units as well. Well, 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 Mr. Zoun, what do we have here? We're starting to claim this high ground area here. Far away removed from any static defense, it seems. Just takes out the creep. That's all he wants? Yes, that's all he wants. It's fair with me. To be fair, most of this army could just float into the main. Right? He doesn't even need the mothership to recall. He could just literally fly there. Protoss Tempest are clearly for a defensive. Alright, yeah, I'll get into that. Wait, we got a big fight going once again. The mothership taken out. And the fighting doesn't continue. Oh, he's crazy. He's going in without a mothership. He's crazy. Has he lost his mind? What is happening? Black is white. The sun is upside down. The moon is backwards. Because those are two things you couldn't really tell. But if it was the case, it would be quite spectacular if it just suddenly was a thing. We are moving in here with quite a well spread out army of carriers. Void Rays, the whole shebang. Is this the moment? Has Zoun done enough? 170 army supply strong right here. Marching into the gates of hell. The Corruptors, the Fungals, everything coming all together. Is this still anywhere near enough to stop the Golden Fleet? Interceptors getting a little bit low. Those Broodlords no longer, well, for a long while actually, not having any target to shoot at anymore. The carrier is still standing strong. We see more and more interceptors coming back alive on those carriers. Meaning that that is a very rough spot. And now, suddenly, game number 5, we have made it. We are making this finals into something quite spectacular. In the bottom left side, a red Protoss player fighting for Alpha X, making a potential reverse sweep. Zoun. His opponent in the bottom right side, there is a blue Zerg waiting for him. Had a very comfortable position before, and now suddenly everything's slipping through his buttery fingers. It's the blue Zerg from KZ. Solar. Is this the last game today? Well, yeah, it should be. Unless if we get into a very weird, like, tie situation, which I don't think will happen. Right, the last time I've actually witnessed a tie was... It's quite a while back, actually. Maybe a year ago by now. Where I was casting a tie. Yeah. It just doesn't happen that often. I don't think you can get a draw on Blackburn. I mean, I'm sure we can find a way. I'm sure if we really think long and hard about it, right? I'm sure we can find a scenario that if we keep playing enough StarCraft 2, it's gonna happen. Not that they happen often anyway. Yeah, this is true. I was thinking with Terran. Oh yeah, I get you. I get you. It's not really a good place. Maybe you can put the buildings over here. Yes. I don't know. This is a pretty good spot, actually. This is pretty far away from the edges. Oh well. Anyway. Oh. Phoenix only? You want to see Phoenix only out of zone? I mean, I'd be down. I would be so down. Wouldn't mind seeing that at all. And look at that, we do have a Stargate. Don't think that's a likelihood of a Phoenix coming out of it pretty much anywhere in existence. But, you know what? I've been wrong before. I've been wrong plenty of time. As we are seeing what these guys are going to be doing, probably a Void Ray, right? It's probably gonna be a Void Ray. I have a hard time imagining it's gonna be anything else. Could be an Oracle. We're not seeing a Fleet Beacon being constructed, so it's not going to be that very quick Tempest play. So far, nothing yet. There we are. There's the Void Ray. It's what we've been seeing all day long, so, you know what? Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Solar, of course, already beat Trap in a best of 5 earlier today as well. He went 3-1, where Trap consistently was using the Void Ray plays. The double gate Void Ray. And the double Void Gates. But he was doing it quite aggressive, right? Quite aggressively. And first the zone, I gotta say, he's playing a little bit more passive. Which is a... how would you call this? I guess a critique I hear myself give to Solar now and again. Where I'm just... It's a hidden circling here. There he is. Wow. I guess, I mean, you'll see the health bar if you have health bars on at all times. Which, you know, as a pro player, you should have. What were we saying? Right, yeah, it's a critique I notice myself making on Solar's play now and again. He gets himself in a really good position. And there's just options for him, right? It feels like there's so many options, and then he just lets the options kind of slide on by without taking the initiative. And I get it, man. Plenty of times myself, right? Where you think there's an opportunity, you think there's an option, and then you lose the game because you thought there was an option and it turned out that there wasn't one. And maybe that is just me being like, oh, there's options here when there aren't any options, actually. But I don't know. I don't know. I feel like Solar, kind of one of the players that I see not really jumping on those opportunities as much. Pretty nice. Getting the Overseer Scout. Not bad. Void Rays making their way over to the gold base. I was kind of wondering when that would happen. Looks like they will arrive as that hatchery finishes up, so it won't be cancelled this time. Or at least it shouldn't. Prismatic alignment's pretty badass. Queen's still quite far away. Yeah, that is dead. That is dead. Solar, you kept... Oh, wait, no, not transfuse. More transfuse. Come on, you can do it, Solar. Oh, no, it is dead. It is dead. I was right. I was right. That's a shame for Solar, then. I mean, he's making another one. He's getting, you know, constellation hatchery with the other hatchery right now. He's getting himself some constellation Mutalisk as well. He's getting 10 of them. Should be a formidable amount. Ready to beat back any further pure Void Ray pushes. At least for a considerable amount of time. So we're hoping for, well, if you're rooting for Zoun, that he is going to stay home with his Void Rays right here. He's not going to move out too far away from those shield batteries. Fourth base, probably something that is necessary for him to take, though, as well at the same time. Building up some infrastructure here is going to be essential. Does have an Archon with the flock of Mutas. Sorry, the flock of Void Rays. Observer seeing the Mutalisk as well, so that's a good sign. He's going to be able to prepare for it a little bit quicker. Already had 2 Phoenixes out, so probably saw it coming a while ago. Oh boy. Losing one rather quickly. Void Rays are going to be necessary here. That shield battery overcharged though. Oh my, that shield battery overcharged though. That's like 13 Mutalisk being beaten back by 2 Phoenix. That is something else. Alright, well. Mutalisk so far not really finding anything. Having a rough time. He's getting air weapons as well. So they'll be packing a bit of a bigger punch. And he's committing further onto the Mutalisk, which is interesting. I thought he was going to go onto the Corruptus after this. Because that's what he did against Trap, right? He forced out a big flock of Mutalisk and then he switched up to Corruptus. And that was, you know, Trap not making a single Phoenix. And now when we do have Phoenix, we get more Mutalisk, so... It is interesting. I mean, it's working. It's working so far. He's got 11 probes just now. Looking at the supplies, it's rather terrifying for Zoun so far. Circlings on the top side, a good counter-attack pressure here. We'll need to have a warp in pretty soon coming in through that area. The Mutalisk and Corruptus find their pathway into the main base. Production in a bit of trouble. Void Rays, where are you? Going to deal with the Zergling aggression, it would appear. The Phoenix alone not going to be enough. Those 2 Stargates, actually, both of them getting knocked down. That means no more Phoenix production for you, mates. And with the Phoenix range upgrade coming in, that is a rough one. He really wants to be building Phoenix non-stop right now, especially against this amount of Mutalisk. Relying on Archons at this point in the game feels like a very rough part. Very rough thing to do, especially with this amount of Mutalisk and everything around. Zoun knows that it's going to be too much of a struggle to just take the fight against the Mutalisk over and over again, continuously losing probes in the process as you are not able to keep up with them. So he's going across the map here with his main force. Still has a pretty formidable amount of Phoenix that he is controlling quite marvelously well. Trying to keep this as cost efficient as possible. On top of all of the expansions now, pretty much one base still remains here for Solar that's safely mining. And I guess the main base as well. There's spine crawlers set up in the main base also. Got to be a bit careful how you send those zealots in right now as Zoun. Wonder if he's going to try to make a run back to his own base though after killing this top right. Or is he going to commit to the main? It looks like he will be going for it. Should require everything together. Here we go. Now just marching forwards. I guess it is just 4 spines. Losing a couple of zealots here. Those zealots won't help out against the Mutalisk anyway. Maybe a little bit against those lings, but there's not that many left regardless. Quite a destructive base trade situation, and you know what, guys, I'm liking the army composition of Zoun here a whole lot better. How many Archons does he have? He has 3 of them. Only 2 Phoenix though, and 6 Void Rays. You know what, that could still be a problem. That could still be a problem. If he loses like 1 Archon by a magic box somewhere on its own, and then he just loses something else, that could be enough here for Solar to win. Let's see though, Solar trying to hide a hatchery on the top left side. Now trying to hide its even more so with the use of this air army. Cannot allow the Protoss forces to engage onto that hatchery though, and he jumps on the opportunity there. GG is called. Wow, guys, we have had a reversal sweep here today in this finals. The best of 5, switching it all around. Zoun taking the 5th game